Colworth House is a research centre in Bedfordshire belonging to the worldwide Unilever organisation. We're going to hear about an important new development in antibiotic sensitivity testing. It's a product called Sensititre, which is manufactured and marketed by Seward Laboratory, part of Unilever's largest subsidiary, UAC International. A research scientist is talking about it.
Today I'd like to tell you about Sensititre, a new product for the determination of MIC values of pathogenic bacteria. The product consists of a plastic tray with a number of multiple wells on it. Foil sealed to prevent ingress of bacteria. The antibiotics are arranged in doubling dilutions down the wells. There are 4 separate antibiotics in the first half of the tray for the test organism, and the same 4 are repeated again in the second half of the plate for your control organism. The point about the product, of course, is that it dispenses with all the tedious business of weighing and diluting antibiotic solutions, which you get with the classical tube procedure.
There are 3 versions of Sensititre plates, each providing a different series of 4 pre-dosed and stabilized antibiotics aimed at particular groups of organisms.
All with very little effort.
Until now, most laboratories have had to rely on the traditional tube dilution method for MIC tests. It's a very lengthy and labor-intensive process. The antibiotic powder has to be carefully weighed. Then it's dissolved and sterilized by filtration. The sterile pre-stock solution is diluted in broth. This will give the technician his top concentration. So he can commence work with the test tubes, which already contain broth. To make up the serial dilutions, the technician starts by releasing a volume of antibiotic solution into the first 2 tubes. Then he continues mixing and transferring, right down the line. Then he has to do the same thing all over again for the control row. The test inoculum has already been prepared, and now he must add an equal volume into every tube along the test row. He then has to inoculate all the tubes in the second row with the control organism. At last, the tubes will be ready for incubation. That's the tube dilution method, long and tedious work needing skills and experience. The process involves all these complex stages. It takes up to 1 hour and will give a result on just 1 antibiotic. Now we can compare the traditional method with an MIC test using Sensititre. These are all the materials that are needed. The sealed foil pouch contains 1 Sensititre plate and all accessories. The technician enters the patient's reference on the plate before removing the moisture-proof foil seal. Using the test inoculum, he doses the wells along the top row, then the second row, followed by the third and fourth. 4 antibiotics in all. He then switches to the control inoculum and doses the lower 4 rows, the control rows, which are pre-dosed with the same dried and stabilized antibiotics as the top 4 rows. All that remains is to seal the plate with the Sensititre peel and stick cover. It's next incubated for 18 hours at 37 degrees centigrade. The Sensititre method, very simple, very quick. Far less work than with the old method. It takes just 10 minutes, and it will give a result on 4 antibiotics and 4 controls. Just compare it with the tube dilution method, which takes as much as 1 hour to prepare for a result on just 1 antibiotic, against only 10 minutes for Sensititre with MIC results on 4 antibiotics. When the plate is ready for reading, this specially designed Sensititre viewer makes it very simple. We can see that in some wells a button is formed. This shows that there's been growth of the organism in those wells. Where there is no button, there has been no growth, with the exception of the 11th column, which is a control column. Moving from left to right along this top row, we look for the last well in which there's been no growth, and that is the MIC value. The technician enters the result on the patient record card, which is included with every plate. He then reads off the result for the control rows and records these in the same way. For bactericidal tests with Sensititre, a special inoculator can be used. This way it takes only seconds to prepare a subculture which will provide an MBC value. Colworth House Research Centre has extensive laboratory facilities for product testing. Here a large number of trial tests were carried out on Sensititre, and similar testing was conducted at 11 hospital laboratories in the UK. The results of these tests were then compared with a recent World Health Organization study, which examined the tube dilution method.
Now I would like to tell you the results of some of the trials we've conducted with Sensititre and compare them with an international study previously published. As you will see, we've conducted more than 2,000 trials so far, as compared with some 500 of the international study conducted under the auspices of the WHO. You will see that in our study, nearly 70% of the plates gave values of the nodal value, compared with less than 50% with the international study. Again, considering plates which gave within 1 dilution of the nodal value, our own plates have given 97% compared with 83 of the international study.
From Colworth House in Bedfordshire to Sussex and the Seward Laboratory factory at East Grinstead. Here, Sensititre plates are prepared, packaged and tested. We shall now discover the main reason why an MIC test with Sensititre takes just a fraction of the time required for the tube dilution method. It's because the first 5 stages of the tube dilution method are carried out for you beforehand, right here in the laboratories, so that you don't have to do any of the tedious work they entail. The production process begins with the meticulous weighing out of the required amounts of 4 antibiotic powders. After weighing, the powder has to be dissolved, and then it's filtered, just as with the tube dilution method, to produce pre-stock solutions. The technician then makes up his top concentrations and serial dilutions of the 4 antibiotics to be used on the next batch of Sensititre plates. Under laboratory conditions of filtered air, free from dust, the pump which doses the Sensititre plates is systematically filled with antibiotic solutions. Sterile plates are fed into the pump by hand, 1 at a time. They are precision dosed with 4 antibiotics. freshly dosed plates go straight from the pump into this purpose-built dryer for a carefully controlled cycle which dries and stabilizes the contents of each plate. After drying, each plate is hermetically heat-sealed with a foil liner. Then it will be labelled and finally heat-sealed once more within a foil pouch, then packed in units of 5 plates of the same type to each box. Quality control checks are carried out at various stages of production. Here, a number of boxes, selected at random, are given a final check. The batch codes must be right. And each foil pouch must contain a Sensititre plate, instruction leaflet, the appropriate patient record card for that group of antibiotics, and the peel and stick cover. The plates taken from the pouches are then subjected to a practical quality control check, inoculated with a known organism, sealed, incubated, and checked. Some other plates from this same batch will be given one final bacteriological check in 7 days. And if this is satisfactory, the batch will be approved for release to customers. Sensititre can be used for bacteriostatic and bactericidal tests. It's particularly suitable for anaerobic work. Sensititre has been designed to make MIC testing simpler, faster, and much less costly.